what is up, Pokemoshpitbeta? This is MrMew72 here, and today we're bringing you the 5th generation standard match with ThunderBlunder777. This was a very good match, very down to the wire, and even though it was taken some time ago, this was way before Black and White 2 ever came out, so, yeah. But anyway, even though it's that old, it really was a very great match because the amount of plays that were made in this, the very good plays, and the predictions in this were really high level. It was one of the most down to the wire matches I've ever had, and you guys will probably have ever seen here on Pokemoshpitbeta. But anyway, let's get right into these teams here. So, you already see that we both bring sand. He wanted to test the team, so I decided to bring some sand. I just decided to grab back some kind of weather, so I decided sand because I hadn't used it in a while. So I threw together this hyper offensive team and thought it would work out. So on my side, I have Resto Chesta Rotom, which is really good at bluffing choice sets. Dragoness Tyranitar. Choice Scarf Landorus, Choice Banded Terrakion, Specs Magnezone, and Calm My Latias. While on his side he has Scarf Rotom, Sub Sandvale, Flight Gym Acrobatic Skyscore, regular especially defensive Tyranitar with Stealth Rocks, Banded Terrakion, Life Orb, Nasty Plot Celebi, and Sub 3 attack Jirachi. So he does bring some quite original stuff, but the biggest threats that I'm seeing from his team right off the bat is that for the Pokemon in the 4th slot, the Terrakion. Terrakion has the ability to two-hit KO every Pokemon on my team with close combat, even though it doesn't have that much PP, so it's gonna only be able to KO a few things. But if the problem with this is that I cannot bring in something. I don't have anything to switch into Terrakion, which is what I'm trying to say. Latias has to be able to get a free switch in to do any kind of damage whatsoever to Terrakion, and everything else pretty much is one-shotted, besides for Landorus, and Landorus can probably take one switch in with no prior damage at all, but that's pretty much it, because I would be able to outspeed it with the Choice Scarf afterwards, but yeah. So anyway, let's get right into this match. So you guys will see how I fare against his team. So anyway, like you guys did see in the team preview, he will also be leading off with his Choice Scarf Rotom. I'm going to lead off with my Chestnut Resto Rotom. Straight off the bat, he's just going to go for the Volt Switch, trying to get Switch Initiative, while I'd want to hurt something on the Switch in, so I'm just going to go for the Will-O-Wisp. And previously, I thought that this was Specs damage, purely based off damage output. Apparently it is Choice Scarf, and we will see that later. So he's going to Volt Switch out into Celebi, while I'm just going to go for the Volt Switch. So that already confirms him that I am not choiced. So now he's going to pull a switch out into Jirachi, while I'm going to pull a switch out into Tyranitar. And this was an excellent play on his part, because I would go out into Tyranitar to combat the Celebi. So that's why he would bring in Jirachi, who otherwise checks Tyranitar very well. So he does know that, so he's going to be able to get up a free sub, while I'm forced to switch out into Magnezone, wanting to salvage Tyranitar for later. So he's behind his sub, and this is kind of intimidating, to be honest, because sub Jirachi with Calm Mind could be an issue, but in this case he's running a more physically oriented set. So he's going to go for the Fire Punch. It's going to do about a third, while I'm just going to go for the Hidden Power Fire, which will be enough to break the sub. He doesn't see any Life Orb recoil on my part. He doesn't see an Air Balloon. He doesn't see leftovers. So he most likely is thinking that my Magnezone is more of choice oriented. So he's going to go for another sub here, which was not a very good play on his part, because him going for a sub only hurt him, because I'm not taking damage from any of his hits at this point. He's only losing HP, and yeah, so my Hidden Power Fire will be able to break the sub. He's going to realize that going for a sub is pointless, so he's just going to go straight for the Fire Punch. It won't be able to take me out, but it's going to come very close. He's unfortunately going to get the burn, but Magnezone is a special attacker, and it will be used for later fodder after this Jirachi is dead, because Magnezone is pretty much is slower than everything else on his team, so there's no point in keeping it around. So I will be able to take out his Jirachi with the Hidden Power Fire, so that's good for me. So now he's gonna bring in his Tyranitar in, and suspecting me to be choice, he's gonna anticipate my switch. So he's just gonna go for the Stealth Rocks, which is an excellent play on his part because now he has free Stealth Rocks on my side of the field. So now I'm going to bring in Terrakion, and I thought that he would go into Celebi, trying to sponge the very obvious close combat. So I went for the X's, predicting the Celebi to come in, but he's is going to make a very risky play and stay in, either not wanting to keep his Tyranitar around anymore, or predicting my attack, which if he predicted that, that was a pretty good play. But he's going to go for the Superpower, and I will very luckily be able to live that, and that will be a very key thing later in this match. So now he's going to bring in Gliscor. I'm going to go for X Scissor and miss, which is kind of funny, but that does show me that he is the Sandveil Gliscor, and he's going to use my opportunity of switching to go for that substitute. So this is also kind of intimidating because it's going to take at the very least 2 hits to be able to take his Gliscor down. So I'm going to go for Stonus to break his sub. He's going to go for the Flight Gem, Stab, Acrobatics, and it will be enough. It won't be enough to be able to take out my Landorus. The damage output does suggest that he most likely is Adamant after running calcs on that, but now he doesn't want to lose Gliscor just yet, so he's going to switch into his Tyranitar's fodder. So that's pretty good for me. So at this point, I believe the score is like 6-4 in my favor. But he will later change that very easily. So now he's going to bring in his Terrakion as a free switch in. And the only reason I stay in with Landorus is because if I switched out, he has Stealth Rocks on the field, and Landorus will die upon Stealth Rocks re-entry. So the best thing to do is to stay in and get off as much damage as I can with the Stone Edge. So he's just going to go for the close combat and take me out. So now I am going to get a free switch into Latias. And he's thinking that close combat's not going to do very much. So he's gonna switch out into Rotom, and I'm gonna go for Dragon Pulse, trying to lower the Terrakion's HP as low as I possibly can, so it'll be much easier to take down. So my Dragon Pulse does about 50% after Sandstorm to the Rotom, which does already confirm that he's not bulky. And now he's gonna go for the Trick. He does outspeed me, so it is the Swiss Scarf. In general, this really didn't hurt me in any way because later in this match, Latias really won't be getting hurt by any real attacks, so it's not a big deal. So my second Dragon Pulse will be enough to hit KO this Rotom after Sandstorm, so that's pretty good for me. The only thing is that I'm losing HP due to Sandstorm, and I'm not getting any HP back. So now he does get a free switch into Terrakion, so I'm going to be forced to fodder out my Magnezone. And he's just going to go for Stone Edge. The only reason I really wanted to Magnezone was number 1 to fodder it out to get a free switch into any other Pokemon of my choice, and number 2 to see what move he locked himself into. So he locks himself into Stone Edge. So that means I'm able to bring in Tyranitar, being able to live at least 1 Stone Edge, and predicting a switch out, I'm going to go for that Dragon Dance. So at this point, I'm not fashioning anything because this is a bulkier spread of Tyranitar with max HP and max special defense. So I'm really contemplating whether to switch it up from max HP to max speed, because having max speed would benefit me more because it would take 2 Dragon Dances to outspeed Terrakion, where with this EV spread it takes me 3. So that is a problem. So now I'm going to go for my second Dragon Dance after he goes for the Earthquake, and like I did say before, the damage output does suggest that he is Adamant. And him being Adamant comes into play right here, because after 2 Dragon Dances, my Tyranitar is at 316 speed. So had this Gliscor been Jolly, he would have been able to outspeed me at max speed, reset by 1 point at 317 speed, been able to KO me with the Earthquake, meaning that my setup turns would have been useless. But now he's going to get a free switch into Terrakion. He's going to go for that close combat and be able to take out my Tyranitar. At this point, I don't have any free switches to Terrakion at this point, so it's the safest option. And Tyranitar did pretty much its job, taking out 1 Pokemon, one of the bigger threats to my team, and so it deserved to go down just like that. So anyway, now he has his 2 Pokemon left, and his other Pokemon is Celebi, and he has his Terrakion. So like I did say before, I need to get that Terrakion down to as low as HP as possible. So I'm going to go for Dragon Pulse. Well, he's going to switch out into a Celebi, and my first Dragon Pulse really isn't going to be doing anything, so that does suggest that he's more of a bulkier, nasty Flot Celebi, but, so it's going to be about 3-hit KO on the Celebi, unfortunately. So at this point, this is kind of intimidating because he has his Terrakion left, I believe, and all I have is my Latias. So that is quite a problem because at this point, he is gonna get a free swim into Terrakion, and he's not taking any HP. So the thing is, I have Rotom W left, so I'm gonna be able to fodder at Rotom W, so I can see what move he locks himself into, number 1, and number 2, to be able to get a free switch back into Latias, which is the only way I have winning this match, because at this point I only have Terrakion and Latias left. So at this point, the only real thing I'm going to be doing is recover stalling him to a point where he either runs out of power points up for close combat, or he gets his defenses down so low to the point where after I'm able to fodder out Terrakion, my Dragon Pulse will be enough to one-shot this Terrakion from the health that it's at. So he's just going to go for the close combats, and his close combats are doing about 50%, so he's pretty much doing all the HP that I am regaining from recover. He's negating that with his close combat. So now at this point he was at -3 defense and -2 special defense because of the Sandstorm boost, so now I am forced to fodder out Terrakion, so that way I can get a free switching back into Latias, and the only reason I switched out with Latias was because I calced it, and I would be able to leave one more Stealth Rock Kitchen with 7 HP, and luckily I am able to, so at this point this is where it comes down to the wire. If my Dragon Pulse does not KO, it is good game, and I will have lost this match 1-0. But as it does go down, you do see that it is a KO, so that was an amazing match, Thunder Blunder, most down to the wire match I've ever had. And yeah, so thank you for watching this battle. Rate, comment, subscribe, guys. Subscribe to Pokemoshpit. Check out my channel. Please check out his channel. And I will